that the terrorist leader Mahmoud Abbas has demanded that Britain apologises for the Balfour Declaration. And I do agree with it. I think Britain should apologise for the Balfour Declaration. And the apology should be for not implementing the Balfour Declaration fully and rapidly. That was a great crime on the part of Great Britain. I feel very proud as a Briton to have come from the country where the Balfour Declaration was drawn up, and as we've already heard, then agreed by other countries. But I feel shame in coming from a country that then, after it had decided and announced that it was going to create a homeland for the Jewish people in Palestine, and actually when I say create a homeland, the Balfour Declaration did not establish a right of the Jews for Palestine. It confirmed a pre-existing right of the Jews to live in Palestine. But having decided to do that, for Britain then to close the doors to that country at a time when Jews were fleeing from Europe for their lives was shameful on the part of my country. And it resulted in the deaths of millions of Jews who did not need to die. We didn't kill them, but by not allowing them to come to Palestine, we certainly contributed towards their murder. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, but we also, during the time that the doors were closed in Palestine, during that very time, we were fighting a war in North Africa against Erwin Rommel and the Africa Corps. We won that war against Rommel, which was pivotal in the ultimate destruction of the Third Reich. And one of the main reasons we won it was because of the Jews in Palestine. While we were not allowing any more in, those who were there already were doing everything in their power and more to facilitate our war effort. 30,000 Jewish volunteers were serving with the British 8th Army under Field Marshal Montgomery, or General Montgomery as he was. 200,000 workers, farmers, factory workers, were manufacturing and producing goods from 7,000 factories, which provided all of the material, including food and other things that the British Army needed in North Africa to fight against the Germans. Without that, supplies would have had to been shipped in from the United Kingdom through submarine-infested waters. That was an incredible contribution that's not recognised. And the Jews in Palestine were doing that while we were preventing the access of any further Jews into Palestine. And at the same time, the Arabs were doing everything they could to try and stab us in the back in North Africa and to encourage the Nazis to drive on and extend the Holocaust into Palestine. That was their plan. That was what they were doing at the time when the Jews were helping us. And then after that, when the declaration, the UN declaration was made in 1947, we abstained, shamefully abstained. And not only that, we also we sent a British general to lead the Jordanian army into attack Palestine, Israel, the state of Israel. So Britain has not been honourable throughout much of this time period. It was a great thing to do to create the Balfour Declaration, but after that, our behaviour has been extremely dodgy, to say the very least, and culpable. I think today we have a far different relationship with Israel. We're one of Israel's strongest and closest friends, Great Britain. Second, I think, without a doubt, to the United States of America, but nevertheless second. And we have an incredible intelligence relationship with Israel. Israel supplies us with technology and information. We do the same. It's a two-way street. I think, as the congressman just said, actually we get more from Israel than we give them, but nevertheless it is a two-way street. Why did this situation occur where Britain basically betrayed the Balfour Declaration? There is one word that describes our actions, and that word is appeasement. And it was appeasement of the Arabs, who were not prepared to accept Jews in any part of the Middle East, had been attacking Jews in the Middle East in the 19th century, continued to attack them after the Balfour Declaration, and of course continue to happen to this day. And because we knew that the Arabs hated the Jewish presence, we appeased them. We thought that by preventing Jews coming in, am I finished? We thought that, I've got a minute left, I'm told. We thought that by preventing the Jews from coming in, we would get what we want from the Arabs. The Arabs would, and we're talking about oil, etc. Today that has gone further forward, because we're not just appeasing the Arabs in the Middle East, and it's not just Britain, it's Europe as a whole. We're not just appeasing the Arabs in the Middle East, we're also appeasing our own Islamic populations in the United Kingdom, who have a very, very significant electoral strength, who our politicians in many cases want to placate, want to appease. That we know they hate the Jews as well, because Muslims, and this is not a, what's the word I'm looking for, this is not a Islamophobic comment, it's a matter of fact based on my personal knowledge and experience. Most Muslims, not all, most, are bred to hate Jews, and to hate Israel in particular. And therefore, we think that by doing bad things, saying bad things about Israel, it will appease and placate the Muslim populations in our own countries, and that applies in Britain and in Europe. And the sort of thing we're talking about is, we talk about illegal settlements. There are no illegal settlements. They're not illegal. Why are they illegal? We talk about illegal occupation. Again, it's not illegal. It's a disputed territory, yes. The settlements are disputed as well, but they're not illegal. We talk about, we support UN resolutions. We support resolutions in the UN Human Rights Council. All of this is appeasement. We know what the truth is. I've spoken to British diplomats who have told me that they know that the settlements are not illegal, the occupation is not illegal, but they say it is because they want to put pressure on Israel. That's a fact, and that's the reality, and that's the situation we face. So, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, we need, what the title of this panel is, we need bold diplomacy. We aren't getting bold diplomacy. From the US, Taylor Force Act, various other things, we are getting bold diplomacy. From Europe, we're getting the opposite. We're getting weak, vacillating and pathetic diplomacy, and that needs to be sorted out and replaced and changed. And I hope, as I think one of the speakers commented yesterday, I hope that when Britain leaves the European Union, it will enable us to stand up more strongly as an ally of Israel and provide, have to compromise less in order to placate our friends in the EU, like France.